Journey with a Cinephile presents.
Well, because we river rats are the dregs of society, with horrible diseases and criminal impulse.
When you think about it, what did it really do? I crossed an imaginary line with a bunch of planets.
I'm besides killing for profit. This is ritual.
Depp Dive, a dapper look into Johnny's feature filmography.
Always remember this is the day that you almost caught Captain Jack Sparrow. Look me in the eyes.
Maybe he wants me to what?
To get confused. Je suis tout seul, j'ai pas d'enfants, j'ai pas d'animaux, j'ai pas d'oiseaux.
Episode 13, Once Upon a Time in Mexico, Secret Window, and Happily Ever After. Hello and welcome, listeners, to Journey with a Cinephile presents Depp Dive, a Depper look at Johnny's feature filmography. This is episode number 13. We have made it a full year since this is a monthly podcast, so that's how that math works there. Ayy. But I am one half of your hosting duo here, David Garrett Jr., and I am joined by my lovely wife.
Of Jamie Frisch Garrett.
She loves that, what I did there. Yeah, bah.
What up, cuz?
That's for you, Travis. So actually, we are back, like I said, once again. This is going to be, a little peek behind the curtain. We were recording this after we finished the last review for the last episode.
You're not supposed to tell them our secrets.
Because we realized that...
I'm smart.
Yes, and it also prevented us from starting the next movies sometimes because we do need to do this thing so we can kind of give a little bit of background information about the movies we're covering and whatnot. So we finally decided to be smart about it.
You're welcome.
Yes, I've given you credit. Quit acting like I didn't.
Say it.
I've already said it twice.
Okay. I asked you thrice.
So, the first movie that we're going to be covering here is one that neither of us have ever seen. This is going to be... It's literally funny. I literally just recorded about this one, and I actually don't know if everything I've said there is actually true or not, so I'm actually going to pull...
Is it the French movie that we don't know if it's French?
No. It is Robert Rodriguez. Okay, so Once Upon a Time in Mexico is going to be the first film that we are going to do an official review on. Mm-hmm. That's the next one in line. This one I'll just kind of give, since I pulled it up already. This one's also from 2003, so it came out the same year as Pirates. I remember when this one came out, but as like a teenager, I didn't realize that this came out the same year as Pirates. So like my way of time, just because of like how big Pirates was and how this movie was more of like a smaller film, kind of just throws me off. So like I said, if you've never seen this one,
barely even heard of it.
You get confused with the Mexican. So that
I don't even know if I watched that one.
I've only seen parts of it. I know that's about a gun that's like a weird like revolver that they get intertwined with. Whatever, it doesn't matter. That movie is weird. But
we're not reviewing that movie.
We aren't. And so, but the one that we are going to briefly talk about here before I talk about the next movie is going to be Secret Window. This is one that we both... I didn't see it in theaters. Did you see that one in theaters? So this one I had seen when it came to DVD, but that was because I was seeking out to kind of expand my horror film knowledge base to anything Stephen King had adapted from his works into a movie. Mm-hmm. So that's why I sought that one out. And I had read the novella that it was based off of as well, which I think is like Secret Window, Secret Garden, I think was the name of that.
Yes, I do believe you are correct. I should read that.
Well, I have it upstairs. It's in different seasons, I believe is the name of that, but I have to double check it. But we had covered this one on the Nightclub podcast. We joined those fine fellows over there to chat about that. And that was episode 146, which has a great title of Deep Deppin'.
I love it.
Which still makes me crack up. So we were just going to kind of briefly talk about that movie here and how we both are big fans.
Big fans.
And it's kind of an interesting adaptation there because it's less horror-y than some of Stephen King's works, but still kind of is in that genre with kind of where things go. We're not going to spoil the movie here because we're going to go
creepy,
so brief.
It's you think there's not a ghost, but like there's just something off, and you can't quite put your finger on it.
Yes, because Johnny Depp keeps getting visited by John Turturro. Depp is in the middle of getting divorced or is already divorced. I think he's still in the middle because he needs to sign the papers as one.
Rubbernecker.
Yep. That is actually funny. I forgot that we were like yelling that on the episode. But that one's very interesting with what's going on there because like this John Turturro character literally keeps coming to Depp's like house and keeps messing with stuff, and he's trying to get all these people involved, trying to prove that this person is doing these things, and there's more to the story there.
A lot more. No, this is just such a well-written movie.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think it's Depp's best performance, but it's up there.
Yeah.
I wouldn't switch from Pirates to Secret Window.
Okay.
But it's such a good movie.
Okay.
I think we need to watch it more often.
That's fair.
Than once every 6 to 15 years.
I think it's probably been a little bit less than that, but I understand where you're...
I said somewhere in between there.
That's fair. I mean, it might have been 6 years for me between watches, but I don't know. I'd have to double check, like, when I would have sought it out. I'm actually going to switch over to Secret Window.
Really?
Because I think it's a better performance than Blow, only because we do see a wide range where he's such a meek and mannered thing, and then the reveal as to the truth of everything at the end, he's so diabolical at that point that I think he's great there.
That's
where we
fair.
learn who John Shooter is. And
so good.
And I mean, a lot of it is the writing, though, with just how these little things piece together, and it fits to explain everything that just kind of blows my mind.
I respect that.
But the performance there is excellent. Anything you want to say before we get away from talking about Secret Window?
Check out our podcast with the nightclub if you want to hear more of our thoughts. Plus, what are they? Your Cajun brothers?
Yep, I am an honorary Cajun, frog daddy down there.
So if you want to check out our views on their podcast and then maybe listen to them, they would love to have an extra listener or
I'm
two.
sure they would if you already don't listen to them.
Well, there might be a lot of crossover.
There could be crossover.
I mean, maybe my fans don't listen to them.
That's true. Maybe they don't. Maybe they don't even know about it.
Exactly. Now they do.
Nightclub.
Now they do.
And then the second movie we're going to be covering here is one that I've heard the title, but this is actually a French movie, which I didn't realize, called Happily Ever After. Is going to be the second film.
Subtitles?
I'm guessing maybe, because I know that the little clip that I've seen from it, he's definitely speaking French in the movie, as in Jonathan is.
Well, we'll have to wait till I'm not so
Yep,
tired.
it is
so
a French
in
film.
about 18 months.
It is in French.
Okay.
So it is subtitled.
Yay.
Subtitled.
It's not that I don't like subtitles. I'm just tired.
Yeah, that's fair.
I'm a lazy
do you know anything
movie
about
watcher.
this movie?
I know it's French, and there are subtitles.
And Charlotte Gainsborough.
Yeah, I don't.
She's
I know
awesome.
you told me, but I can't remember that.
She's
I'm
awesome.
sorry I hit the table twice.
She just has happy hands, but doesn't realize that she can move them away from the table to move them.
The baby's kicking, so I'm trying to pat that and.
That's fair. I guess anything else you want to talk about in this intro before we move away from this, or do you want to go eat your ice cream?
I want to go eat my ice cream. It's melting next to me. I keep looking at it.
Peppermint.
It's 'tis the season, man.
That is true. 'Tis the season. Peek behind the calendar. Or curtain, I guess. It's still middle of December. We're recording this.
Are you excited we're recording it early?
No, I just want to keep saying it because it kind of slightly annoys you.
Which part?
Me telling everybody.
When we're recording it?
Yes.
It doesn't. I just don't know why you think it's so funny.
Because I'm getting a reaction out of you right now.
I wonder where Mackenzie gets that from.
You.
Oh!
All right, we better get away from this before I get in more trouble than what I'm going to
We'll
probably be in.
start an argument or nothing. Let me go eat my ice cream.
Okay. All right, everybody. We are going to go over then to the trailer for Once Upon a Time in Old Mexico. Bye.
I never heard of him.
Who?
A man you recommended.
The man is a myth, a legend. And if he's still living, he's the one you want. I make you nervous?
No.
A renegade agent playing both sides
I work for the CIA. Mexico's my beat, and I'm walking it.
is out to find the outlaw who became a legend.
I need you to kill a man. He's being paid to kill the president. So why me? Well, frankly, because you've got nothing to live for.
What's wrong?
Everything. Oh, yeah. It might get a wee bit dangerous.
What do you mean, Jose?
Now,
Do you want to know the secret to winning? One has to rig the game. This is a setup.
he's about to discover that legends
I'm here for my guitar. I didn't think you'd ever come back for this thing. Neither did I.
play by their own rules.
And I guess I have no choice but to kill you all. Time to get messy.
You dig it?
I can dig it.
Once upon a time in Mexico.
Are you still standing?
Still.
And welcome back. So, we finally got around to watching Once Upon a Time in Mexico. This is from 2003. It was written and directed
Originally
by...
supposed to be in 2001.
Ooh, okay.
Got pushed back to 2003.
Interesting.
Continue.
So this stars Antonio Banderas, Selma Hayek, and Jonathan Depp. This is a dark comedy, gun-fu, action, crime, thriller film that is from the United States. It is...
Gun-fu?
Yeah, this is a term that got really made popular by Joe Bob Briggs. This is...
Billy Bob?
No, Joe Bob Briggs. This is sitting on a 6.3 on IMDb and a 3.0 on Letterboxd, with our synopsis being Hitman El Mariachi becomes involved in an international espionage involving a psychotic CIA agent and a corrupt Mexican general. So, I will give the floor to you to start off with. What did you think about this interesting little film?
I still can't wrap my head around how I think about it.
Okay.
Like, it was funny, it was dark, it was
a dark comedy,
twist.
so,
like,
yeah.
I mean, I just described dark comedy, didn't I? I don't think it's my kind of movie, but I found myself enjoying it.
Well, we both kind of ran into the same issue that it was hard to settle in because it was just so manic.
bad.
But then once you've then I come to realize they really were just trying to introduce you to all of the players before everything falls into place. And then once things started falling into place, we both enjoyed it
It
significantly
went
more.
so quick.
Yeah.
So, good film. I feel like I probably need to watch it again to catch
now that you
all
know
of
who,
the stuff and the things and the quirks, because I think this movie is well written because everybody's intertwined with one another.
Agreed.
So I feel like there could be clues that we missed that we were shocked by, or just fun little things that we didn't see before.
That's fair. No, I mean, I think that you're pretty dead on there with kind of what you were alluding to, that I didn't necessarily know what I was expecting we would get either.
No, I truly didn't know.
Yeah.
Neither of us really look into this very much before we watch movies, so...
Especially if I've never seen it before. I mean, I try to kind of come into it as, just open to whatever they can do.
Agreed.
So, I guess from there out, anything else you wanted to kind of do here for this opening little bit here? I'm trying to see other movies that I've seen by Robert Rodriguez to see if I can help
Not
me.
really. I have some trivia about some of the main cast, but
Okay.
I figured you should introduce the cast list first.
Okay, before I do that, I don't know how familiar you are with this guy as a director.
Not.
Okay, because he's actually really good friends with Quentin Tarantino, which I said during the movie that does kind of
makes
fit
sense.
the vibe. Because they did the Grindhouse together, where he did Planet Terror, where Quentin did Death Proof.
Okay. Death Proof's the one with her leg, right?
Yes.
Is the gun. Okay.
No. Planet Terror is where she's got a gun leg, and that's the zombie one. Death Proof is the one where it's the car with Kurt Russell, and he is driving manically around and gets attacked by the women. I've actually seen a good handful of Robert Rodriguez's films. I've not seen any of the other parts to this trilogy here, El Mariachi or Desperado. I have seen From Dusk Till Dawn, and Quentin Tarantino actually helped write that, and he stars in it for a good
He's
portion.
in all his movies.
No, he wasn't in this movie.
Quentin Tarantino didn't do this movie.
Yeah.
Quentin Tarantino's in all his movies that he...
Nah, I don't know if he's in all of them, but for the most part, yes. He does make cameos a lot. He did The Faculty. That's a good movie about aliens attacking a high school. Now, interesting enough, Robert Rodriguez did the Spy Kids films.
I've never seen them.
He did it so his kids could watch something that he made.
Oh, that's kind of sweet.
Yeah, I've read that somewhere that he...
Did you get teary-eyed?
No, when I first learned about this was a long time ago.
Oh.
So I was kind of oh, that's really cool. So it makes me never make fun of those movies because kind of a cool thing to do where you're going to make a movie. He also did Sin City.
Oh, I love Sin City.
I like Sin City a lot.
Fire Baby will burn us both. I love you for now and
he did
the
Machete movies, which makes sense.
For always and for never. Rory Gilmore's in that movie.
Yeah, she is. Mm-hmm. She's one of the prostitutes.
She is.
But obviously we said Grindhouse, Planet Terror, and
now I want to watch Sin City. I didn't like the sequel.
He also did the sequel, A Dame to Kill For.
It wasn't...
Well, they're all based off of graphic novels, so like that's just kind of delving more into... The first one's just so good, and they both have really good
killer cast.
Yeah.
And they're all together but separate.
They're all intertwined in this city that it all takes place in.
Sin City.
Yes. But I can go ahead and get into the cast list then, since you set me up there. We, of course, have Antonio Banderas, who was El Mariachi. He, I think, is great in that role there.
So do I. They originally only had rubber guns.
Yes.
And he wasn't used to working with silent guns, so he would make the bam bam sounds as he shot, and they had to tell him to stop doing that.
That's funny. We have Salma Hayek, who, she's been in a good handful of different things that I've seen. She has some pretty good range, actually. Johnny Depp, of course. Doesn't surprise me that he has a stellar cast around him, because it seems like almost everything he does has a stellar cast.
Yes, absolutely.
William Dafoe, one of my most seen actors as well.
Oh,
he
really?
is in this one. Yeah, he's just been in such weird, random things that he has steadily just moved up there, because Johnny Depp is now my second most seen actor right now.
That's fair. The actor that plays his double...
I read this, actually, before you were out of the shower.
Legit looks like him. They didn't do any...
That's wild.
Any AI, any creativity, nothing like that. It actually...
CGI
Thank
been
you.
more of,
I was like, AI is not the right word.
I was like, a little early for that, but yes.
But they didn't do any of that.
That's impressive.
They should always keep that guy on whatever movie
Every time
Defoe's doing.
Yeah, and you need to have a stand-in. We have Mickey Rourke, who was Billy in this one. He was in The Wrestler. He was very good looking, and then he started doing plastics. He's the villain in Iron Man 2. He's the Russian with the whips that are electrified. Oh. He was very good looking, up and coming actor, and then he started doing plastic surgery, and it really just messed up how he looked. Still a great actor. I'm not going to take anything. Ava Mendes, gorgeous. She's in this one. Mm-hmm. This must have been I know her first movie she was ever in was one of the Children of the Corn movies.
Oh, really?
But so this, I think, was pretty still early on into her career, because that wasn't, it was right around this time that she was in that movie. Danny Trejo, great guy if you ever want to have somebody who's rough looking but a great human being. Mm-hmm. We have Enrique Iglesias, the singer, has a cameo in this movie.
He plays more than just a cameo.
Yeah, there's so many characters, though, that a lot of these people are
that's
cameos.
That's fair, but to me a cameo is so small. Johnny Depp kind of plays a cameo in this role as well.
Yeah, because, he's really only in the movie for,
No, I meant he finished his... Sorry, fun fact.
I did read this, yeah.
Quit reading my fun facts.
I can't help it. You were taking so long.
So since you guys don't know, he finished all his filming in 8 days and then wanted to stay on set, so he asked to be in it, and he ended up being the priest, which I thought
it was just a joke.
Part of it, but he's playing, and he...
his Marlon
Brando is who he impersonalized.
Impersonated?
Yes, my words are hard, and you're talking and making...
Oh, stop it. You could not think of that word.
It's the baby.
Yeah, I was going to say.
I
did read that. That was
8 o'clock at night and tired.
It was actually kind of very funny that he took on that role.
Yeah, so it's almost like he did a cameo in a
I had
he was
thought
already in.
It was supposed to be Sands, who is Johnny Depp's character, because he's a weird guy the whole movie, because he's wearing weird shirts, which...
Did you find this one out too?
I read the IMDb trivia, yeah.
So you know all of them?
I don't know. I stopped reading because it got to be so long. And
anyways, he sent his sister to Florida. Because I like to surprise you and wow you.
Surprise me.
How can I if you already know it? He sent his sister to Florida to all the tourist spots to get the most tackiest shirts. It was his idea.
I love it.
I think that's wildly creative.
It is. And then kind of going down the cast list some more. I don't know, he looked familiar, but the other mariachi singer who was part of that trio with...
The drunk one.
Was Marco Leonardi. I don't know how I know him. Cheech Marin from Cheech and Chong. Yeah. He plays in this movie. Ruben Blades, I know him from Fear the Walking Dead, where he is the retired FBI agent who gets intertwined because his partner was tortured and killed.
I don't know who that is.
But you know him in the movie.
I don't know what character he played.
In this movie?
Yeah.
The retired FBI agent
Oh,
who
I
his
thought you
friend
were
was
talking
tortured.
about the Walking Dead
No.
guy, and I'm like, okay.
Well, Ruben Blades is in this movie
Sorry,
as Jorge, the
I
FBI
zoned
agent.
out while
He
you
was
were talking.
also in Fear the Walking Dead. That's how I know him.
Struggling.
The advisor to the president is Julio Oscar Menchoso. He's a guy who just looks super familiar, and he's the one who like set everything up with the president.
Yeah.
I don't know how I know him. He looked familiar, and then the president has been in I think he is Pedro Armendariz Jr. I want to say he was in like John Wick or something like that. I might be wrong on that one. But
I have no idea.
no, he was in Casa de Mi Padre. Yeah, he looked familiar as well. I've seen him in just a handful of things that involve Mexicans because he is Mexican, I believe. So anything else you wanted to say here about our cast list?
No, I think it's a wonderful cast list.
Yeah, once again, very stellar.
Just talent.
Anything else then you wanted to talk about with this movie film?
I don't think so. I kind of chimed in my facts when they made sense.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I just kind of finish out kind of what we've already said is that, like, it took a while to get into it. Mm-hmm. I do think the comedic elements at times are a little heavy-handed, but I also think that there's some very good... It's actually a very good action movie once everything kind of... It does feel like a throwback to, like, the 80s action films where you had, like, the Sylvester Stallone or, like, the Arnold Schwarzenegger type movies. But instead of just having, like, those guys, you've got a very, like, ethnic cast since Robert Rodriguez is Hispanic, and it works very well for what he's trying to do and paying homage.
I thought it was good, and I thought Johnny's performance, like, he's quirky, he's straightforward, he captures...
It's a very Johnny Depp role, yeah.
I thought he did a great job.
Yeah. Okay, so then that kind of parlays us into what we normally do here. Are you going to take this over Pirates 1?
Oh, hell no. Like, there's nothing that would change my mind right now about...
I was about to say, ooh, that's a bold statement.
I right now, there's nothing... we're only one movie out from that, so...
Yeah, that's fair.
But I think this is a great role. If this role would have been earlier, probably, but... Pirates is such an iconic Johnny Depp role that it's very hard to move.
That's fair. I'm actually, even though it hasn't technically, it came out after this movie, I'm going to stick with Secret Window, since we obviously in the intro I talked about how we're not going to. I'm going to stick with that one just because I think he's a little bit more of I think he's a bit better of a character. It's a little more grounded, a little bit less like odd screwball type thing. He's great in this though. Like he's definitely perfect for. Did you actually? I'm surprised you didn't bring up the other people that were up for this role instead of him.
Oh, I couldn't remember all the names.
That's fine. I still have it open.
George Clooney was the very first
That's the
one
one
they
that
wanted,
stuck out to me,
he
which
was
is funny because he was in. Oh no.
Unavailable, and then it was Sean Penn, Nicolas Cage.
Yeah.
I don't remember.
You're
Those were the
missing-
ones that I remember.
Kurt Russell and Bruce Willis were the other two.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's
interesting because they're all they would have played this role so very different.
George Clooney makes sense because he was in From Dusk Till Dawn, so he'd already worked with Robert Rodriguez.
And Bruce Willis is in Sin City.
But Sin City came out well after this
I know,
movie.
but like that would have been
but I mean,
probably his introduction to him at least.
So I mean, it's kind of interesting. Like they probably knew each other, but they hadn't worked together as far as I know at this point in their careers. But agree, I think Antonio Banderas might be in the Spy Kids movies as well.
Oh really?
I think so.
I
think he might be like the spy who like helps the kids like get acclimated, and then is kind of like that adult that kind of helps them out and everything. Yeah. Anything else that you want to say about Once Upon a Time in Mexico?
No, I'm glad we finally watched it.
Yeah,
I mean,
too.
we're almost at the end of January.
Yeah, life got crazy. Ohio State won the national championship, so like that kind of affected a lot of things. You haven't been feeling the greatest.
No, this third trimester is kicking my butt.
And out of that, like we've just had busy weekends, even though we didn't necessarily have things going on, but like
life.
Yeah, that's true. And our daughter is just a handful, and she wears us out
so much.
Well, if there's nothing else, then let's go ahead and jump over to the trailer for the next movie, which I don't know the French title. I'm not going to do it, but I know it's like Happily Ever After is the name of the movie in English. Okay, be right back.
wish I was special. You're so fucking special. But I'm a creep. I'm a weirdo. What the hell am I doing here? I don't belong here. I don't care for her. I wanna have control. I want a perfect body. I want a perfect soul. I want you to notice when I'm not around. You're so fucking special. I wish I was special. But I'm a creep. I'm a weirdo. What the hell am I doing here? I don't belong here.
And welcome back. So for our next review here is going to be covering Happily Ever After. Goes by the original title of Il se mariait et aurait beaucoup des
Nailed
enfants.
it.
Hey, I'm just a Frenchman out here. Oh, we were kind of wrong on anything, but I'll get back to that here in a minute. Anyways, writer-director here is Yvonne Attal. This stars Johnny Depp, Charlotte Gainsborough, and Sebastian Vidal. This is a comedy drama music film that is from France.
France! Music film.
I guess.
Because they play Creep?
Well, I mean, there's music throughout, though. There's a few montages.
There's music in all the movies.
But not all of them have montages, like this one does.
Ugh.
Anyways, since she wants to split hairs here, this is sitting on a 6.4 on IMDb, 3.1 on Letterboxd, with our synopsis being, is the love compatible with coupledom? And what of freedom and fidelity? These are some of the questions facing two married men. So then, this one...
What a synopsis.
Yeah, at least it doesn't spoil anything. Just to kind of, I guess, give this a little bit of background information here. The two married men that we are following, I might have these guys, is Vincent, who is actually Attal, who is the writer and director.
Yes.
I got confused because this is going by, like, how they're doing the top people aren't necessarily correct. And then the other married man is Georges, portrayed by Alan Shabat. And then they also have a buddy of, is it Joseph?
Joseph is the son.
Okay, Joseph is the son. He's a grown man in this picture here. He is not a grown man in this movie. I can't think of what the other friend's name is then. It's not.
It's Fred.
Is it Fred? Why is his a little boy? This is confusing. Do you have the names backwards? No, you're right. It is Joseph.
It's Joseph because
yeah,
the
so
S
it's
is...
Fred Alan Cohen.
I'm pretty sure it's Fred.
Yeah. Well, I mean, he is a little boy, and then the little boy in the movie is actually a grown man in his picture, so I'm confused. Anyways, so what did you think of this movie?
I don't know. I truly don't know. I'm shocked as to how much I wanted to watch this movie after I started watching it. Because...
Same.
I mean, for transparency's sake, it is February 9th, and we just watched it yesterday.
Yeah.
So
we've also been extremely busy.
We're a little behind.
Yeah.
I did not want to watch this movie. Then I was finally like, sure, fine, whatever.
Yeah.
And I was shockingly
Well, you're going to have
hooked.
the baby soon, so we wanted to make sure that we could try to see what we could do before that happens. Yeah, agreed. Like, I wasn't overly thrilled about this one either, so I mean, I didn't do the greatest job of pushing to watch this.
You did not push it at all.
Well, I tried to, but we've been super busy, though.
And I haven't been feeling well. I made it to 33 6 weeks and counting.
Yeah.
So,
And, well, not only that, but I was also trying to get in recording with Jake, and I'd like to try to get another one. I don't think I'm going to make it before, because I'm going to be recording next weekend with Robert and them. But yeah, so it's been difficult. I mean,
and my energy's been very low.
and then we're just trying to knock things out before everything kind of happens as well. But yeah, no, I mean, not a movie I was excited to watch, but as we kind of got into it, I got hooked because it has a very interesting story.
Yes, you just don't know what's going to happen next.
Yeah.
And it plays out differently than
I was expecting.
Yeah, the twists and turns happen sporadically, and at times this movie made me so anxious.
Yeah, no, for sure. Like, that's a great way to put it, because, I mean, I guess the crux of the thing is, like, we have these two married men. Now, the one, him and his wife do not get along very well, and that is actually George with his wife of Natalie, portrayed by Emilia Wells, Singer, which we know her from The Ninth Gate.
Yes.
She was in that movie. They don't get along, and they actually have, like, they're kind of friends with their neighbor who can hear them fighting, but it's interesting, though, their whole relationship is actually much more healthy, as we kind of see.
Yeah, it's almost like they hate each other, but they just need to come back to one another.
Yeah.
As we kind of discussed, raising kids is hard.
Yeah.
And there are times where we're planning baby too, and I'm like, I'll see you in a year.
Yeah.
We just know it's going to be difficult, especially when we play man-to-man, going from a double team.
Yeah.
But they end up seeming like they come back to one another.
And then it's also kind of interesting, kind of going along from there, is we have Vincent with Gabrielle, and that is the writer-director with his... are they married? Or
I don't think they're married.
But they definitely have
I
a
think,
son together, who is the son in this movie.
Yes. That was my
Oh,
only fun fact. I have another fun fact.
Okay. Actually,
I'm
now that I'm
kidding.
looking at it, is that Ben Attell is Yvonne's son. So actually,
Yes.
that does make sense. But I mean, Gainsborough, I know from all of the Lars von Trier films, not his like earliest stuff, but like he's definitely had a run with her. She's been in Antichrist, Nymphomaniac,
I know her from
Melancholia, like been in a lot of those
Nymphomaniac.
ones. That movie's wild.
Yeah, I watched that by myself, and I lived with a whole bunch of very, very conservative roommates, and so I had to watch it very quietly.
Yeah, that movie, there's a lot of...
And
lot
it
of sex
kind
in
of messed me up.
That movie, it's good, but it's
very good.
It's definitely heavy.
Yeah, I didn't know what I was getting myself into.
Well, that's fair. Yeah, so this one, definitely kind of an interesting movie there, just because Vincent and Gabrielle, they seem like they're the happier couple, but then we actually realize is that Vincent is cheating on her with
He says he loves another woman.
He does. Which is kind of
Which we got into another debate about, can you
Yeah.
actually love two people at once?
Which we've kind of come to the conclusion that we don't think that's possible, because you kind of, like, it's tough, because I think it's more of you're probably in lust with one of them.
Yes, and the other one you feel a deeper connection to, but
Yes.
I think you can fall out of love with somebody,
Yeah.
but still have deep connections
Right.
too.
Yeah, that's...
I would like to think most people who have children together maybe don't love that person, but you have a deep connection to that person.
Well, I mean, I think that's kind of the whole thing they're making with when we see... Oh, what was his name again? Why am I drawing a blank? Is Vincent's parents, is that they go out to eat near the end of the movie, and they don't look like they're happy, but they're content with each other. Mm-hmm. And that's kind of, I think, how your relationships, the longer you're with somebody, is that you just feel absolutely comfortable, and you don't necessarily have to impress each other anymore. And
Right, or sometimes you might have to do something that spices things up, even if it's a trip, or I don't know, but I could imagine life getting boring sometimes.
Yeah.
I don't think we'll be there for a long, long time.
I mean, we got 2 children soon, so...
So I just think it's an interesting take. You have so many different perspectives on relationships.
Well, then there's also the other friend who is the perpetual bachelor who is juggling multiple women, and how he kind of factors in on everything, where it's kind of interesting because at one point he kind of makes it sound like he's not happy or like he's content with his life until a change happens for him. Mm-hmm. And then we actually see he might be the more stable of...
Well, he's even said, he's like, I don't go home to anybody. Because his friends are like, oh, you're so lucky, you do all this stuff. And it's just kind of like the grass is always greener, right?
Yeah.
And he says, I don't have any obligations, which is a good and a bad thing for most people.
Like, so that's what I kind of told you is that, like, if we didn't work out, I probably would have just delved more into movie watching, podcasting, and whatnot there. But, like, we'll never know because
we worked out.
Yeah, and she's clutching her belly as
Sorry.
I said that because you didn't make any noise. I was just stalling for time there.
It was painful.
Anything else you kind of want to talk about with the story?
No, just interesting. I still don't truly know if I understand the ending. Not understand it.
I
It
think the
leaves
ending
open to interpretation.
Yeah, I think the ending is however you want to, because it's definitely a dream.
Yeah,
like, it's a daydream. It's not like they're definitely in the elevator, but I don't like you. It's up for you to figure out if they actually like what happens there.
Yeah, because it looks like she gets everything she wants, but then she may still want to cheat. So I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know how people can sacrifice such a stable, comfortable thing for a moment.
Yeah, but I also think that's the thing is I don't know how stable it actually is if you are willing to jeopardize it for something like that.
That's true.
It might seem like it, but I also think it's kind of like duck on the water. Is that everything seems calm, but underneath your legs are just kicking.
I think people get bored.
Yes.
But then I can't imagine being so bored to cause such drama and chaos and pain.
Because I don't know. Like, 'cause I'm not overly bored.
I don't know how we could be.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's what my whole thing is. Like,
I get bored and I rearrange a closet.
Or moving around baby stuff when you need to
We should have bought a bigger house.
No, we should not have bought a bigger house. Anything else that you want to say for? So, it's kind of funny is that we've laughed about this one. Is that Johnny Depp has
Don't ruin my second fun fact.
Go ahead and say it then.
Fun fact: Johnny Depp's not really in this movie. He is. For
Nailed
6
it.
minutes. You took my other fun fact.
But I did want to read these 2 reviews that I read to you from Letterboxd. So I'm going to give credit here to Z233. I watched this whole movie for Johnny Depp's 3 minutes from a Creep by Radiohead music video on YouTube because I wanted to be quirkier than the other kids who are quirky and not like the other kids. The other one by Omar Tarek. The scene of Johnny Depp and Charlotte listening to Creep together made me watch this whole movie. And I feel like that's kind of where we fall as well. Is that we thought he'd have a much bigger role, but he literally is in this movie for 6 minutes, according to the trivia, I guess.
Oh, no, that...
You just made that up?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, that's probably pretty close to actually.
I mean, he's in there for most of the Song of Creep.
Yeah.
2 awkward smiles. And a Willy Wonka elevator ride.
Yeah, that's true. So how would you compare this Johnny Depp performance? I will give him credit, though. He does a lot without saying anything.
Yeah, he does a smile, and you can tell he's American.
Yeah.
Who speaks French. Mm-hmm. So I feel like
because even that second scene, he actually speaks French at first, but then he goes to English because he checks to see if she can...
She asked him, do you speak English?
Okay.
And he said yes.
And I think it's a relief there for him. Cause
and he's like, have I met you somewhere?
So he doesn't even remember, but she's been...
Or he does.
But I mean, if you ask that...
Maybe it's to jog... Like, hey, do I know you?
See, I disagree. I don't think he remembers. I think he recognizes her, but I don't think he remembers how they met. Where she's been clinging to this because she's gone back to that radio or that record store multiple times.
Mm-hmm. And she plays that album throughout.
Mm-hmm. But anyways, I mean, he does a lot.
His performance is great.
I mean, it's really good.
Not enough to make me change.
It's really good for the small amount of time that he is given to work with.
Yes, because he's what, in 3 scenes?
I think he's only in 2.
2 scenes?
Yeah, I think he's in that one scene that happens fairly early on. I thought he was going to be a bigger part of this movie because he's the highest billed person according to IMDb.
Good for him.
And then he's not come. He did come like I wasn't even sure he was going to come back, and he does at the very, very, very end of this movie. Good for him.
Good for him.
Yeah, agreed. Like it's not going to overtake Secret Window for me.
No, sticking with Captain Jack.
That's fair. Anything else you want to say then before we close out this episode? Say goodbye to anybody? Anything like that?
Obviously to our baby girl, Mackenzie. And then shout out to Sequel. Please don't hurt me.
Yeah, that's fair. Yep. So then I will say here to close out that I am one half of your hosting duo of David Garrett Jr. and I am signing off.
And I'm the other half, Jamie Frisch Garrett.
Oh, there we go. Bye.
Nailed it.
It had been a wonderful evening, and what I needed now to give it the perfect ending.
Which...
Sorry. I had an alarm set so I wouldn't forget something a patient asked me to bring.
I may or may not keep that in just because
It's goo gone.
you are incredible.